Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! You Descendants and Zombies fans are never going to believe where I was this evening. I was out desperately trying to get my hands on the only copy in town of Sonic Crossroads Racing. And as difficult as that was for me to obtain a copy of it, I managed to track one down. It was the only copy in town. There it is right there for all you Sonic the Hedgehog fans. For those of you who have followed me for a very long time, for the better part of over 25 years, you know that I've saw a hero in Sonic ever since I found out about him. And I've showcased my passion for all these Nintendo characters on these videos that I've created for everybody because I love creating relatable content. I have a niece. She's about 5 years old, and her favorite superhero has always been Sonic the Hedgehog because of how cool he was. If you ask her, her name's Emily, she always says that Sonic the Hedgehog was her favorite character of all time because he was just such a nice character. There was just something about how Sonic always cared about everybody around him that made him so special for me, and that's why I've always had this passion for Sonic the Hedgehog and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, who is a Sony PlayStation character in a video game that is never given enough credit. As you guys get from my video game collection there in the back, I pretty much collected every video game in existence, and I really wish there was a video game to talk about and review about Descendants and Zombies. There are a lot of rumors floating around online that Descendants and Zombies characters, especially the Zombies characters, are going to find their way into Fortnite in late 2026. Although that has not been confirmed, but for those of you following the Disney projects having everything to do with Fortnite, Baymax from Big Hero 6 has found his way into Fortnite. Jack Skellington and several other Nightmare Before Christmas have found their way into Fortnite, and that's kind of convenient because the Nightmare Before Christmas characters were some of my favorite characters. I was particularly fond of Tim Burton's creations because many people have referred to me of having the same mind of Tim Burton. We have the same mindset, very creative. And Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, and Captain Hook, I think I got that right, were some of the first villains ever introduced into Fortnite. So I think the chances of seeing your favorite Descendants and Zombies characters, your princesses, your princes, finding their way into Disney's Fortnite has never been greater, and I will continue to follow that story. Conveniently enough, I'm the only guy to ever upload a video with his thoughts in it to share with thousands of Descendants and Zombies fans on the possibility of Descendants and Zombies characters finding their way into Fortnite. And if you want my opinion on that, I think anything is possible. The sky and the stars are really the limit. You can go to the moon and beyond and back again with your predictions about Descendants and Zombies. And if anyone's ever had a story to share with me about their passion for Descendants and Zombies, I'd welcome that here on this YouTube channel. Because every single night, I push the record button. I may never know what I'm going to say in every video that I ever upload or create about Descendants and Zombies, but I have so much fun hearing your stories from your perspective about how you became a fan of Descendants and Zombies and you discovered the magic that existed behind Descendants and Zombies, because this really was a beautiful story. It was so full of life, and it gave so many people so much inspiration to feel passionate about dressing up as their favorite Descendants characters on Halloween and showing up at my door. I will never forget the first Halloween that a girl showed up at my door dressed up as her favorite Descendants character. It was such a huge honor for me to get to guess who their favorite character was. They would stand outside my door and they'd be like trying to get me to guess who their favorite Descendants character was, and many more would follow. That was one Halloween night that I never ever forgot because you guys sent me behind my computer and you're saying to yourself, hey Jonathan Clarke, have you ever used a laptop before? I did for a short amount of time, but I'm kind of stuck back in the late 1990s when computers were the big thing for families. You would have a computer like in your recreation room and you would do all these studies to create all this innovative content, and I've kind of just stuck in that generation. I've been stuck in that generation for forever, so I'm still just as big of a loser as I was 30 years ago with a desktop computer creating content for every fan of Descendants and Zombies because I want to desperately relate to everybody who may have been a fan of Descendants and Zombies. But I've had so many unforgettable memories and stories that I've shared about Descendants and Zombies because these two franchises have gone on to mean so much to my heart. They've always held a very special place in my heart, and I really had the honor of sharing these stories with thousands of people who have loved Descendants and Zombies with all of their heart. And I just want to take this time to say thank you to everybody who really brought me to this moment where I discovered that I was a fan of Descendants and Zombies, and I wanted to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies more than anything else in the world, because that's what led me to each and every one of you and allowed me the chance to become best of friends with all of you who are fans of Descendants and Zombies, who obviously feel very passionate about your favorite characters, your favorite stars who have made up the cast, They are very talented, and they are very full of life, and they are so appreciative of life. If you've noticed anything about this cast, they are so appreciative of the opportunities they are presented with in life. And that really means the world to me when they resonate with each and every one of you, and they've allowed this loser to be a part of a niche that was very acceptive of how he felt. Because you guys, ever before you came into my life, man, I was such a loser. I was playing Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot every night, dreaming of being a video game developer. And my mom used to say, hey, Jonathan Clarke, that dream sounds really stupid. Go out and get a degree in rocket science. And I looked at Mom more times than I ever given credit for, and I said, rocket science? And she said, yeah, go out and get a degree in rocket science. And I said, you know what, Mom? It's either going to be a toss-up between being a professional wrestler or a successful YouTube content creator, and that's exactly what I chose, to be a successful YouTube content creator, which allowed me so many opportunities in life. But one of the greatest opportunities that I ever had was to meet each and every one of you and to share in this passion. A passion that undeniably has brought us all together. It was either going to be a pro wrestler or to be a successful YouTube content creator, and I chose being a content creator because I put my heart into every video that I ever recorded about Descendants and Zombies, because I really did believe in Freya Skye. I really did believe in Clarke and Trell, and I wanted to showcase them for what they were worth, which was a lot of potential and a lot of heart. Because they believed in each and every one of you just as much as you believed in them. The feeling was really mutual. And together, thousands, if not millions, of Descendants and Zombies fans, because some of these music videos from the original Descendants franchise have seen up as high as 77,000 likes. Just think about that. If you posted a video on YouTube and you woke up in less than 24 hours and over 77,000 people had liked just one music video or one video that you produced, wouldn't you go out of your mind? I'd go crazy. I wouldn't be able to say thank you enough to every fan of Descendants and Zombies if they hit my like button 77,000 times. But you know something? For every 100 views or every 500 views or even 1,000 views, there's always that one girl. The reason why I do this is because there's always that one girl that will forever and always hit your subscribe button, no matter how much of a loser you think you are. She loves you with all of her heart, and that is her way of telling you that she loves your video. And this happens every night for me. I get so many notifications on my computer that people are liking the videos, they're subscribing all the time. They're helping this YouTube channel grow and expand. Because I've seen some YouTube channels from content creators who profess they love Descendants and Zombies that don't have near as many subscribers as this one. This YouTube channel has beaten some of the best. The only Descendants and Zombies content creators that are ahead of this YouTube channel are Disney themselves. And one of these days, I like to believe that I will catch Disney. Although that seems virtually impossible, we are well on our way to surpassing every other content creator for Descendants and Zombies. We are number one, and the only ones that we're behind is Disney. And we're slowly but surely creeping up there. And it has everything to do with how much you guys have chosen this to be your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time, which I will never be able to believe. Seriously, guys, I think this is a dream. Like, you know how Silent Hill, that video game from like 1999 when it was originally released on the first PlayStation? Silent Hill was this tale that everybody saw in their dreams. Until one day they just for some reason wandered off into Silent Hill. Well, this really feels like a dream for me that I just kind of woke up in, and I've never ever wanted to wake up from this ever again. But if this was ever a dream, I certainly hope I never wake up from it, because it's given me the chance to meet so many incredible fans of this franchise that have held it so close to their heart that they've become inseparable from how they felt about Descendants and Zombies, because the Worlds Collide Tour was really a moment. The premiere of the first ever Descendants movie back in 2015 was really a moment. And what was so cool about it was I got to share in that. A guy nobody had ever seen before in their lives, who just had a story about Descendants, who was finally given a chance to be taken seriously for the first time in his life. Because I was never a sports geek, I was never a jock, I was never a member of the football team or the wrestling team. As much as I love pro wrestling and wanted to be a pro wrestler, I never had the chance to be on the pro wrestling team in high school, the football team. I was never a Zed-like character. And you guys took this loser and accepted him as a part of your life and a part of your niche. Because this niche is very important to every fan of Descendants and Zombies. It's like a club of people, and very select people are chosen to be a part of this. Because if you don't like Descendants or Zombies, you're never cool. You're pretty much a loser if you don't like Descendants and Zombies or know anything about it. But you guys are some of the smartest people ever, who have become a part of this fan club, who have become a part of this niche, and you've never ever left it. You've never quit on who and what you believed in. And the one thing that I've noticed about you guys is that you're forever supportive of who and what you believe in, because everybody has a favorite character. Everybody has a favorite song. I know that you probably turn these songs on your tablet until like 3 o'clock in the morning. You probably get noise complaints from your next door neighbor, but you never cared. You probably got an eviction notice. But the thing is, you love the songs because you're so passionate about it. And all I've ever wanted you to do is continue to follow your passion. Let's say you're passionate about the song Chillin' Like a Villain, because many people wanted to learn the choreographing of that. Many people wanted to learn the choreographing of Life is Sweeter When You Are, and it was the greatest honor of my life seeing the choreographing tutorials that were being uploaded to YouTube and how passionate people felt about learning that dance number. You guys even had a chance to learn it at the hands of Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner. You couldn't have asked for better mentors who felt so passionate about Descendants and Zombies. In these moments, they got to share in with each and every one of you from both Descendants and Zombies, because I believe Freya and Malachi were also a part of dance tutorials at Millennium Dance Complex. I know because I experienced it, and I never felt more honored to be a part of it. I never felt more honored to be a part of so many wonderful reviews that I got the chance to be a part of because of each and every one of you. Because once you win the hearts of every fan of Descendants and Zombies, you've truly got something to be grateful for, and something that will forever and always hold a very special place in your heart. Now, I've showcased my passions for everything from video games to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to Buffy the Vampire Slayer to even the Vampire Diaries, which is very uncharacteristic for a guy to actually admit to you guys about on his YouTube channel, but I was a fan of the Vampire Diaries. And the reason why I say that is because I know Freya Slye was also a very big fan of the Vampire Diaries. I felt so passionate about the Vampire Diaries, and if there was a new episode of the Vampire Diaries to watch on the CW years ago, I was there for it. I was front and center. I couldn't wait for the latest episode of the Vampire Diaries, especially when they started to change up the storylines, when Stefan fell in love with Caroline and Damon eventually fell in love with Elena, and everything went crazy. Everybody almost went nuts. If there were 250 episodes of the Vampire Diaries, just under 210 episodes I think it was, I must have watched every single one of them. So when I hear Freya Slye talking about her appreciation for her favorite characters who were part of the Vampire Diaries, of course when the Vampire Diaries was number one, Freya Slye was only 1 year old. She was pretty much just a baby. But I remember watching the Vampire Diaries on the night that it premiered. And when I heard Freya Slye talking about it, it brought back so many fond memories. That just goes to show how much she wants to resonate with each and every one of you. Because every night at 8 p.m. on the CW, and I think Wednesday nights, I used to watch the latest episode of the Vampire Diaries. And I always wanted to be a part of these vampire TV shows. I wanted to be a part of Buffy the Vampire Slayer years ago. Some of my friends were extra vampires on that TV show. It looked so cool. It looked so fun. I wished I could have had a hand in production and the sentimental value of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which eventually became a passion for the Vampire Diaries. I've always had a greater appreciation for supernatural lore. Do you guys know that Supernatural had over 15 seasons? Meg Donnelly's trying to still figure out how many seasons of Supernatural there have been, but there have been over 15 seasons of this one. And I think once you have a greater appreciation for supernatural lore, it gives you a greater appreciation for everything else happening around you. I remember being a part of the Twilight generation, the conflict, of course, between Edward Cullen and Jacob. We all remember that story and how beautiful Twilight was. Over 5 books, 5 movies. And I actually remember how thick the Twilight book was. It was over 1,000 pages, and I was like, oh my God. The first time I ever held that book in my hand, I couldn't believe. I will never get over how it was over 1,000 pages, and how somebody could read that from beginning to end. But it didn't take somebody very long to figure out why somebody could read that from beginning to end. It was because it was just such a beautiful book. And the thing was, what resonates with people who are fans of Descendants and Zombies is just how beautiful these stories are. And a lot of guys, the reason why this YouTube channel has become so popular is because a lot of guys can never understand why a girl feels so passionate about Descendants and Zombies. Many of you probably are in relationships with guys who don't know the first thing about Descendants and Zombies or even know why you're so crazy about it. But I really wish more guys would actually sit down and take the chance on, understanding the characters and understanding you for being the fan of Descendants and Zombies you are, because many of you have these shelves in your room that are full of Descendants and Zombies dolls. Many of you felt very passionate about collecting the 10th anniversary dolls, which are exceptionally beautiful. I say this because, when you have an action figure or a doll or even a teddy bear released on your character that you inspired people to fall in love with through movies and TV shows, you know you're going to leave behind a legacy. And I'll let you guys in a little secret. I've always wanted my own action figure because I always had a dream of wanting to be a pro wrestler, and I never had the chance to have my own action figure. I wanted my own action figure or my own teddy bear with my own action phrases, like Alf had years ago when you would squeeze his tummy and he would say, "Let's check the refrigerator," or something like that. You know, I remember the first time I ever got my first Alf doll, and I opened it up on Christmas morning and I squeezed his tummy and I thought I had the world when he said, "Let's check the refrigerator." Many of you are probably too young to remember who Alf was. He was pretty much an alien who lived on this planet called Melmac, which I think a lot of guys live on, although they've never admitted to it because they never seem to pay attention to what many of us have going on in our own lives. Pretty much everybody's zombieing out. But he was this alien who lived on Melmac who loved to chase cats. And he always had a greater appreciation for life. He was one of my favorite puppet characters that were on a live-action TV show. The show only lasted from, I think, 1987 up until 1990. I think it only lasted like 3 seasons. But I remember being such a huge fan of that. And I know that a lot of you are really passionate about Descendants and Zombies because this is really what your life has represented. Because my life was represented by so many characters. Crash Bandicoot, Sonic the Hedgehog, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and of course the Vampire Diaries. I was always a huge fan of this kind of stuff. And I've never had any regrets. Because I know how passionate Freya Slye was about the Vampire Diaries, and from the very first moment that I ever heard Freya Slye talking about the Vampire Diaries, I always wanted the chance to sit down to get to know her for her love for the Vampire Diaries because I felt so passionate about it too. Because the thing is, in order to create relatable content, you've really got to understand and really got to appreciate your audience. You really got to come to terms with what it takes to create relatable content. And you have to feel confident enough to share with everybody your stories, no matter if they accept the stories or they don't. It's kind of like having a career in theater. I remember almost 30 years ago being involved with theater heavily for high schools, and I attended the Drama Festival back in 1998. In the fall of 1998, there was a drama production going on. There was a drama competition actually going on. And I remember being the head of over one of the classes. I had to basically introduce them to the concept of the Drama Festival and give them a tour of the school that was hosting the Drama Festival at one time. And I tried to give them some advice. And the drama teacher speaks up and they say, "We were told to do this and this is what we're going to do." Do you think that they took my advice? Well, most certainly not. They didn't. What do you think happened to them? They went out, they gave their production over 45 minutes. They sucked. The audience didn't like them. The audience booed them out of the building, and they were disqualified for the drama festival, all because they didn't take this friendly guy's advice. The thing is, you're never too young or too old to learn something new. And I had the opportunity to learn something new every single time that I ever sat behind this computer, which I recently just upgraded because I wanted to produce better videos for you guys. I put so much heart and dedication into this Descendants of Zombies project, you guys would never believe it. And that's why, my greatest wish and my greatest honor would be for every Descendants of Zombies fan who ever loved Descendants of Zombies with all their heart, or even Freya Slye or Meg Donnelly or Kylie Cantrell, to all subscribe here. If there are 10, put it this way, if there are over 10 million people on social media who have loved Descendants of Zombies with all their heart, or even love Sonic the Hedgehog, I would love for them to subscribe here to this YouTube channel. Because I know somewhere out there amongst those 10,000 Descendants of Zombies fans, there was always a fan of the original trilogy, who are always welcome here. There's always been a fan of Kylie Cantrell, and for sure, there's been at least one girl who loves Sonic the Hedgehog with all of her heart, who thinks this guy's really crazy, but also really sweet, because he reacts to everybody's opinions about Descendants of Zombies, and he responds so well to Descendants of Zombies, and I just wanted to give you guys the best because I've always believed that there is no room for any criticism having anything to do with your favorite stars. Let me put it this way. You guys only have one life to live, and if you want to live your entire existence on this planet, because there is only ever one planet Earth, if you want to believe that superheroes are real, and you want to believe fairy tales have a chance of lasting forever, then you should continue to follow your passions. And no critic on YouTube ever deserves or ever has the right to take that away from you. Because I felt passionate about a lot of crazy things over the years. I felt very passionate about Disney Channel for many years too. When I was a child, pretty much your age, we didn't have Disney Channel or access to Disney Channel only at random times throughout the year. We would have free previews of Disney Channel because Disney Channel over 30 years ago was really expensive to have. And I remember being so excited when we would have the annual preview of Disney Channel before it ever became exclusive here in Canada. And I felt so honored to be a part of everything I had the chance to be a part of, because growing up in a generation that was prodded by traditional animation before Disney moved out of that into CGI, it was so cool and it was so fun to be a part of. I remember holding the very first copy I ever held in my hand of the VHS of Beauty and the Beast. And now nearly 35 years later, Beauty and the Beast is worth $10,000, the original copy of it. I love sharing with you these stories. I never know how well received these videos are going to be, but these are the reasons why franchises like Descendants of Zombies have been able to draw so much inspiration, and everybody's been able to take away something special from it. If you guys love Freya Sky with all of your heart, and you paid over $100 for this Freya Sky hoodie off FreyaSky.com and you've never taken it off, you are more than welcome to subscribe here to this YouTube channel. And if you've ever had a story to share with everybody about how you're a fan of Descendants of Zombies, you are more than welcome to share that story with thousands of people who have hit the subscribe button, because nearly over 4,000 people have saw something special in every video that I've ever had the honor to create and upload. And if you've ever believed in the chances of a zombie apocalypse happening more than ever before, I think now is the time to really believe more in Descendants of Zombies than perhaps you ever have. I look forward to these conversations, and I look forward to sharing with you these crazy stories. And I've had the time of my life sharing with these stories with so many wonderful fans of Descendants of Zombies, and allowing more people to fall in love with this franchise more than ever before. I have no idea what happens to me every night when I record a video. I think I'm suffering from a zombie apocalypse. But I really have loved the chance of allowing more people to fall in love with this franchise more than ever before. If you are somebody who is new here to this YouTube channel, hi, welcome in. It is my honor to present all this wonderful content for you guys the way it's forever and always been meant to be reviewed and discussed. And I really have the time of my life. We've had another fun weekend put behind us, and we have many more to celebrate, because we have so much to be excited about this unforeseeable future when it comes to Descendants of Zombies, because you had best believe that there is one future in store for Descendants of Zombies that we are all going to be a part of. It's really history that we are all going to be a part of, and I have never felt more honored to share with you my story about how I became a fan of Descendants of Zombies. And I'm a fan of all this crazy stuff that many people can't believe, because I've been living here in this haunted house for forever, and it never gets easy. Living your life in fear that your local soda plantation or chemical plant could explode at any given moment. You can never be too prepared for this kind of thing, but many people have put their trust in Jonathan Clarke to be the lead voice of Descendants of Zombies, and it's been such a huge honor and so much fun for me. Guys, thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and once again choosing to spend your Sunday evening with Jonathan Clarke. It's been a wonderful weekend. We have a new one coming up this forthcoming weekend, and I am so excited to celebrate the memories and the moments of Descendants of Zombies all over again with each and every one of you. We will pick up this conversation from where we left it off bright and early between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. tomorrow morning. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, that's really early. I can't watch your show. I got school. Well, come home and watch the archive of it, because your love and support is what's going to get us out of this crazy situation and make us the #1 Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel in the world, and give more people more of a reason to believe that going out on your front lawn and being beamed up by an alien mothership has never been more greater than ever before. Because one can never be too prepared for things like alien invasions and zombie apocalypses, but thankfully we have this YouTube channel to get us through and see it through every single time. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed, and thank you for spending your weekend with this crazy guy. You have been watching undeniably the most popular Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. I, of course, am its host, Jonathan Clarke, and I've never felt more honored to be in each and every one of your presence discussing Descendants of Zombies and hopes for the future for everybody, because indeed there is a future to be excited about when it comes to Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much for having watched this video.